Make sure to check out my Patreon for exclusive videos never before seen on YouTube. And don't forget to also check out the memberships on my channel page to join and gain access to perks and see videos early. Make sure to click the subscribe button and hit the bell and be notified of new videos. All the support goes to the production of the channel for better content. Now let's get into the video. What if Goku had Broly's adaptation? Now what I mean by this is that Broly is a special Saiyan. On top of his legendary Super Saiyan power, he's a mutated Saiyan. But the fact that Broly's adaptability is insanely busted. He was able to go from fighting base form to being overpowered, to being able to tank Super Saiyan God level attacks because he was adapting. Vegeta was even shocked, saying that he's learning as he's fighting. This version of Broly was able to pick on techniques just from seeing it once, and we have seen this before with Vegeta trying out instant transmission for the first time, and even Goku learned the Kamehameha wave just the first time seeing it, and on his first try as well. But that's nothing new. The main thing is the adaptability. Goku's power, that with Broly now, will continue to rise as they face a threat that is stronger than them. Broly was able to fight beings that have contended with gods, and Broly only trained with his father, which Frieza even said was pretty non-existent and didn't really help him. Broly was just naturally that strong. But how quickly he was able to rise in power from just one fight goes to show how high he's able to adapt. Gohan is in a similar boat, but his strength really lies from his rage and his potential. But Broly has a similar thing as well, but we're going to do what if Goku had this adaptability, where any opponent that he faces, he quickly rises in power far beyond what anybody has ever seen before. Now the majority of the beginning of Dragon Ball plays out the exact same, with Bardock still sacrificing his life to beat Frieza. Fortunately, he knew that he would not be able to stop him, but he knew that one day his son will kill Frieza. As he knows that this will change the future, as he would then throw his final javelin cannon right at Frieza, but sadly, his supernova from his finger would do nothing to him, as Bardock was engulfed alongside planet Vegeta, leaving only a few Saiyan survivors left in the universe. Goku would still arrive on planet Earth just like before, and meet Grandpa Gohan. Goku still being an infant, he doesn't really have any crazy power showings, of course. His power level is still mediocre. Goku would still hit his head just like before, and you could say that he could recover faster than before, as he's adapting quickly, but none of that really changes. Goku would still be the happy-go-lucky Saiyan that we all know and love. This is when Bulma, on her summer vacation, will begin searching for the Dragon Balls. Goku by this point has turned into a great ape already and sadly killed Grandpa Gohan. As true, Goku's adaptability is crazy, but that doesn't mean that he has any control over the Uzaru state. Sadly, he killed Grandpa Gohan. You can say though that this version of Goku is actually stronger, because he has trained and fought with beings that are stronger than him. Grandpa Gohan, from what we know, had a battle power of around 60 to 70, which is very impressive. But Goku by this point is probably stronger than that, probably reaching near 80s at least. So Goku is actually much stronger, as Goku by the original had a power level of around 10 to 12, which is very impressive. Goku would still meet Bulma just like before, as he was searching for the 4-star Dragon Ball. This is when she would try offering panties just like before. Goku would not be interested, so she decides to kind of trick him, for Goku to become her bodyguard, and to protect her. So Goku and Bulma would then leave, going on their adventures on this search for the Dragon Balls. This is when they would then receive the Flying Nimbus for bringing Roshi his turtle back. They would meet the turtle, and they would find out that it needs to be brought to the sea, and it needs to be given seawater. After helping him out, they would then meet Master Roshi for the first time. Master Roshi, after seeing them help, would still offer the Flying Nimbus to Goku and give away the Dragon Ball. The 3-star Dragon Ball was now in their possession, having 2 Dragon Balls now. This is when Goku would still defeat Terrible Oolong just like before, and they would still get the 6-star Dragon Ball. Pretty much any threat that Goku steps in his way, he can defeat pretty fast, as these early villains have no chance against this version of Goku, who has grown much stronger. This is when Bulma and Goku would then meet Yamcha and Puar for the first time, and we know that Goku was originally defeated by Yamcha because he was still starving. While I do believe that Goku would still be overpowered by Yamcha first, because he is starving, Goku would still have enough power because he's still way stronger than he was to hit Yamcha at least once, which would then knock him out completely. This is when Master Roshi would then use the Kamehameha wave to put out the flames on the Frying Pan Mountain. Though, he does destroy the mountain alongside with the castle as well, but they would still find the 7-star Dragon Ball. Goku would still defeat the Boss Rabbit and his gang, sending them right to the moon. Now Mai and Shu would steal the Dragon Balls from Goku and the gang. Now Pilaf would still summon Shenron, and Ulan would still make his dirty wish. Now this is when they were locked up originally. But now in this time, we're actually going to be having some changes. Goku would not turn into a great ape, as he never looked at the moon because they were locked up. With Goku being so much stronger, with a simple ki blast, he would be able to blast his way out of that building and defeat the gang, and destroying Pilaf's castle in the process. This is when a few days later, we're going to be having Goku and Krillin, who would, after meeting each other, they would then be tested by Roshi, seeing if they should be worthy to train under him. Goku would easily blitz past his test, pushing the rock with ease, even almost lifting it with a finger, and he would also be able to run way faster than Krillin ever could. Now, Krillin by this point had a battle power of around 40, around 50. Goku by this point, after fighting every now and again, his adaptability is still going up as he's still fighting. This would mean that Goku's power level would probably be at least 120 from 80. It didn't rise too much because of the fact that he hasn't really fought an opponent that's really pushed him yet. But we will get to those opponents very soon. Roshi would immediately train the two, and they would then spend the next 7 months training. This is when Goku and Krillin would still be increasing the weight of the shells on their backs. Now we know that from Broly originally, he's never actually done real training. He did do some practice with Paragus, but even Frieza said it was mediocre with his power level. But with martial arts and the weight training that they're doing, Goku would continue to grow at a faster rate, even surpassing Krillin. But Krillin's not left in the dust, as Krillin is pushing himself to become even stronger. So Krillin is actually a little bit stronger than he originally is, I would say by an extra 20 to 30, which is very impressive for the people in the early Dragon Ball. This is when the Red Ribbon Army would still begin searching for the Dragon Balls, and this is before all this happens. They would then go to the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament. And this is when Jackie Chun in the original defeated Goku. This time around, Master Roshi would still be able to fight Goku pretty evenly, as Roshi's been keeping his training up. Now after the 7 months of training, Goku's power level by now is definitely near the 180s. At this point though, even if Master Roshi still fought Goku, he has no chance. Master Roshi would still go buff form, and even the opponents that Goku would have fought originally, Goku would still easily surpass them, no problem at all. As his adaptability is rising as he's fighting, Goku by the end when he fights Roshi is at around 220 to 230, making him nearly as strong as Demon King Piccolo and he was originally when he drank the Ultra Divine Water. We are then going to cut forward when Goku would then fight Master Roshi head on. Roshi would have to use his buff form to even touch Goku at all, but Goku was far too quick, and without even turning into a great ape, he would knock Roshi out of the ring. This is when Goku would still spend all of his money, and he would spend it all on eating a lot of food. This is when the Red Ribbon Army and Goku begin their race searching for the Dragon Balls. Now the Red Ribbon Army already has attained the 6 and 5-star Dragon Ball. This is when Goku would easily defeat Colonial Silver. Goku would then end up in the Jingle Village, and he would then take down the Muscle Tower with absolute ease. This is when, after fixing the broken Dragon Radar, Goku would easily defeat General Blue, but he would still meet Ariel in the Penguin Village just like before. The difference here is Mercenary Tao would not kill General Blue. Goku would easily defeat them in their matchup, but Goku would still be at the base of Korin's tower, and Goku would still climb the tower all the way up to meet Korin. And he would begin taking his training as Korin senses that immense power within him, he could maybe survive the Divine Water. This is when he would then take the Sacred Water from Korin, increasing his power even more. So after 3 days of quickly training, he would then obtain the Sacred Water. By this point, Goku's battle power is at around 220 to 230. Especially after drinking the Ultra Divine Water, his battle power is around 350. Thus making him way stronger than he was originally, but not as strong as he was during the Raditz saga just yet. Now, this is when he would then easily defeat the Red Ribbon Army, and he would still fight Grandpa Gohan in the Fortune Teller Baba Battle Arena. Now, this is when Goku would still swim to Papa Island, where the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament would begin taking place. Now, just to throw it out there though, Goku hasn't really met somebody that can fly fully yet. There are some characters who can, but Goku hasn't really met one and fought against one that can fly, but we'll get to that shortly. And Shenhan could actually fly, from what we know. So this is when the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament would then take place. Goku would easily blitz past any opponent in his way. Now, Krillin will still fight Roshi, and Roshi will still fight Tien, but he'll drop out just like before. But this time, Tien Shenhan would not win. Goku being so much stronger than Tien, Tien has no chance to fight this version of Goku. Goku would easily defeat him, but this time around, Krillin would still be killed by Tambourine, and Demon King Piccolo would then appear. This is when Goku would then meet Yajirobe to find Tambourine. Goku would easily defeat Tambourine without even breaking a sweat, and when he actually fights Demon King Piccolo, this time around Demon King Piccolo was easily defeated. Even if he was in his younger body and in his prime, he would not be able to defeat this version of Goku, as he is far, far too powerful for this version. Goku would have easily defeated him with the Kamehameha, but this time around, there's no Piccolo. Since Goku's blast was so powerful, it would completely wipe out Kami. This also means that if Demon King Piccolo dies, then Kami's wiped out as well, so Kami would still die. But there's one twist. This is when they use the Dragon Balls, and they'll bring back Krillin, and then, later on, Demon King Piccolo still caused a lot of damage. So Bulma would still make the wish to wish back everybody that was killed by Demon King Piccolo. The dragon would still make this wish. This means that Demon King Piccolo would actually return. Goku by this point is still up training with Popo. Kami would then suddenly appear back again. And this is when, after introducing himself back to Goku, Kami would then explain who he is and what he is, especially. Goku thought he was Demon King Piccolo getting ready to fight again, but Demon King Piccolo is now revived, and he would try to search for the Dragon Balls. Even though he was still old, Goku would then meet him, but he knows to not kill him fully. He would then easily beat down Demon King Piccolo, as Kami even told him to end him, and the fact that you don't need the Dragon Balls when you're so powerful. This is when Goku would actually agree with Kami's wish, as Kami already died in the first place. Goku would then shoot a Kamehameha wave, but Demon King Piccolo this time around would still spit out an egg without nobody seeing, and he would then perish. But Kami was still kept alive, which means that there's an offspring somewhere. Now that Kami was brought back, he would still train Goku for the remainder of the couple of years, and now, this is after training on Kami's lookout, Kami would not need to restore the planet Moon since it was not destroyed. Now, this also means that Kami would still remove Goku's tail, as he still knows that Goku can turn into a grade 8, but Goku's tail is still gone. This is when Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, and Chaozu would then climb to Korn's tower. Now, this is when they would begin training for the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, and this is when it would begin taking place. Goku still met Chi-Chi just like before, as the same events would happen, and he's still a bit goofy, so he would still think that, of course, wedding is some type of food getting married. And Chi-Chi would still be mad at Goku for the fact that he kept ducking her, so Goku would still knock out Chi-Chi pretty easily, and then he would accept her to be married. This, where some things are going to change, as now with Piccolo Junior here, he has kept his training up as he knows how strong Goku is. But even though Piccolo did train a bit more intensely than before, it doesn't make a difference. Goku's seen the biggest change, especially when he went into a room called the Hyperbolic Time Chamber and experienced gravity training for the first time. This would then jump his power level by a massive margin. Even though he only spent 3 months inside, stated by Goku, that's plenty of time to grow his strength. Goku by this point has a power level of well over 3,000. So when he does fight Piccolo, he has no chance of defeating this version of Goku. Goku easily defeated him, but he still spared his life, as he knows that if Piccolo dies, then Kami dies. Goku's grown a closer connection with Kami as his master, so he cannot do it. And they still need the Dragon Balls in case anything happens. Piccolo would be spared, as Goku states that he can stop him no problem. Piccolo would then fly off, as this is when he would go and marry Chi-Chi. This is when, a couple years later, Gohan would still be born, and of course, jumping 5 years later. This is when Nappa and Vegeta and Raditz are taking over the planet Sheik. And the Saiyans have an audience with Frieza, and after discussing their plans to usurp the tyrannical emperor, Raditz actually remembers that on Earth is nearby, and he knows that he has a brother there. If he could join them, they have a way better chance of beating Frieza, so Vegeta and Nappa would let him go, as this is when Nappa would begin heading over to find his brother. Once when Raditz arrives on Earth, this is where some things are going to change. Piccolo would then see how strong Raditz is. Goku would have already sensed it. Raditz would then sense that there's a power level of over 500 nearby, and he would then fly off as Goku was still at Master Roshi's house. And this is when he would introduce Gohan to everybody. Now, if people are wondering, will Gohan have Goku's adaptability? No, Gohan will remain the same as he is in the original. His potential is already high as is, as the fact that with his rage and everything, adding the adaptability is insanely busted and Gohan will be far too powerful for anybody. This is when Raditz would then appear and he would be furious that Goku's tail is gone. But he would then explain who the Saiyans are and what they do, that they are tyrannical leaders and they try to take over planets and pirate them for money. He would then tell him that the planet should have already been done and they could have already left it and sold it for the highest bidder. Goku would never join Raditz, as he explained, that he would never join him, and he's no brother of his. Raditz would then explain that he will take it by force, as he needs an offering to try and force Goku to change his ways, so once when he tries to take Gohan, Goku would actually stop him midway. Goku was much faster than Raditz thought, as a powerful knee would then send Raditz near the water. Raditz's scouter beat off, and his power level jumped up to 2000 instantly, but then now it's back down to 500. Raditz doesn't understand, and maybe it must be like a glitch in his scouter. He was faster than he thought, but against him, power level 500 will do nothing to him. Goku would then tell Raditz that you do have one chance to leave and to never return. This is when Raditz would not accept this, as Raditz would then fly in and him and Goku would begin fighting near Master Roshi's home near the islands nearby. Now this version of Raditz has no chance against Goku, as Goku would then prove his point, as Raditz would then fire a double Sunday right at Goku, who would just slap it away like it's a toy. This would then shock Raditz, as Goku would then say that he's never faced somebody this strong before, and it's actually getting him excited. Raditz would then go into his full power, jumping from 1200 to 1500, fighting Goku with everything that he has, but Goku was still far too powerful for Raditz, as this version of Goku began powering up. Raditz would then tap his scouter as it would begin flying up, seeing his power level reach well over 4000, and then he would then stream it out. Nearby, Vegeta and Nappa would begin hearing it on his radio comms and actually be interested to go see. Nappa doesn't believe that this Saiyan's low class is a power level nearing his own. It's impossible. Vegeta does find this Saiyan interesting, but they decide to go head towards planet Earth to see what's going on. This is when Vegeta would actually tell Raditz that they're going to be arriving there within a year. Raditz would then begin laughing, and he would then tell Goku that two Saiyans stronger than even he is are going to be arriving within a year's time to destroy you. Goku would not want to waste time, as he would then give Raditz one chance to get away. Raditz would not accept this, as he just can't lose. There's no way that his brother is that strong. It makes no sense. Raditz would then try a dirty tactic. He would then try to fire a double Sunday at his friends, which Goku would appear just in time and actually deflect the blast. Goku's rage began to boil, as he would then explain that he gave him one chance to get away, but he tried hurting his friends and his family. Goku would then begin charging up a Kamehameha, as Raditz would begin pleading for mercy now, but Goku's not taking it lightly. Goku would then fire the blast full attack that would hit Raditz and then blast him onto the ground, as Raditz's armor was blown off and his scouter was nearby. Raditz would then, with his dying breath, tell him, too, that Vegeta and Nappa will be coming. Nothing he can do to stop it. And then he would then pass on. After this point, Bulma would then collect a scouter, as Bulma was now going to look into deciphering the language, so she can then figure out how to kind of get the scouter working. And especially since they have a space pod as well, they can use this to make a spaceship. This is when Goku knows that within a year's time, those Saiyans will be arriving, so he would then discuss with his friends what to do. Well, this version changes a lot, since if Goku never dies like the original, he's never going to go and see King Kai, or is he? We're then going to cut towards Kami's lookout. Piccolo's not there, as he actually took Gohan, and he was actually planning on training the brat But in this one, there's some changes. Piccolo would never train Gohan as because Goku's actually around. Now, Gohan would actually train at Kami's lookout, and Chi-Chi would actually be allowed to stay there so he can keep his quote-unquote studies up. Kami would actually train the boy, and Piccolo would not be there. He would begin training solo on his own, which would actually make him stronger because he can focus just on training solely by himself, not having to deal with a little kid. This is when they would then take Kami's training and even use the hyperbolic time chamber. But Kami has a different level of training than Goku. He would then explain that there's somebody in the other world. It's another dimension. When you die and you pass on, you can meet somebody named King Yemma. Kami did know who this guy was, and he was actually able to teleport back and forth between there. As this was shown when Goku went back to the land of the living, Kami was already there, and he actually teleported back, and Kami already knew who King Yemma was. King Yemma would not teleport someone from the living right there. It just would not make any sense. Now, this is when Kami would then explain that there's somebody who can maybe help you. King Yemma knows all the living and the dead. Maybe he can find a teacher for you. Somebody that can push your limits far beyond anything. As you've learned everything you can from me, you need something else to become something different. Goku would then take his leave, as he would then meet King Yemma, who was a bit irritated why there's somebody living in here, as it's meant for souls only. Goku would then beg and explain that, look, there are these Saiyans that are heading towards planet Earth, Vegeta and Nappa, and I need to find the best teacher that you know, someone who can help me grow stronger to stop them. King Yemma would then think about it, and he says, well, I'll decide this on your record. He would actually look over Goku's record of his life, and he would see that Goku wears his heart of gold, and that he's a hero. This is when King Yemma would then accept it, as if Goku was any less, he would not, and he would send him back to the land of the living. He would then tell Goku to run down Snake Way, as it will not be very fun. But there's one problem. How is Goku going to be able to run down there if it's super long? He's going to starve to death. This is when Kami has an idea. Bulma came through, and she actually has capsules for Goku to bring with him. So once when Goku can actually stop, he can press a capsule, and then boom, there's a whole gourmet meal for him to eat. And it should last a couple of weeks for him, maybe even a month. Goku would then take his leave and then fly. This version of Goku can already fly, and the fact that he has a power level of a couple thousand, nearly 4 to 5, he's much faster. Instead of Goku taking nearly 2 to 3 months to arrive, even more actually, this is when this version of Goku would get there within a few days, maybe even less than that. As in the original, it took Goku months on end to arrive all the way to Snake Way, but since this version of Goku is flying, and on top of the fact that he's way faster, he can get there within a days or two time. But knowing Goku, he probably ate the whole month's supply of food anyway within that short time because he's Goku. Once when he would arrive, he was completely exhausted as he went full speed all the way there to get as quick there as possible. He would then jump and head right towards King Kai. This is when Goku would then fall flat on his face. Goku was not as heavy as he originally was, as remember his adaptability is quickly setting in. Within a few minutes or so, he would quickly adapt to gravity and now he can walk around no problem. This already has increased his power from 4,000 to roughly around 5 to 8,000. This already makes him way stronger, the fact that he's just grown just from the heavier gravity. So it'll go from around 4,000 to let's say about 6,000. This is when King Kai would then meet Goku, and after saying a funny joke, King Kai would then agree to train the young Saiyan. This is when King Kai would actually fight Goku, and King Kai knows that he's not going to do very good, but he was the strongest he's ever seen. King Kai has a battle power of around 3,000 or so, and he states that the Saiyans are even stronger than he is. This gets Goku pumped up, and Goku states, how would I fare against them right now? After sensing, King Kai would then sense that you would do okay against one of them, but the other one would easily defeat you, no problem. This actually gets Goku excited, that there's somebody that strong. King Kai would then state that he'll teach him everything that he needs to know. He would then teach him the ways of the Kai, as now Goku would easily catch bubbles and easily hit Greg around the head with the mallet. This is when we're going to cut forward, when Goku would finally learn Kaioken, and he would also learn the Spirit Bomb. Now Goku's level of the Kaioken is very high already. Goku was able to jump to Kaioken times 2 immediately with no problem, which King Kai says that that's about the highest that you want to go. But Goku says that he can go higher, he knows he can. Goku would then jump up to times 3, under King Kai yelling to not do that, He would then jump up to times 4, times 5, and by the time he hits times 5, it was starting to strain his body, but he notices that the more he uses it, the easier that it's getting, and King Kai can see this too. It's incredible. Goku would then jump up to times 6, times 7, times 8, then times 10. This already, Goku at this point would then reach times 10, as King Kai would then stop him, saying that you can't go much higher than that, you're going to destroy yourself, you can literally explode. Goku's body was already quickly adapting to Kaioken that quickly, already using it for the first time. He was jumping up that fast. And using the Spirit Bomb, Goku was easily able to use it, as Goku was actually able to use the Spirit Bomb much faster, as it didn't take as long to actually summon the Spirit Bomb, and he could even use it on a wider range. As you know before, Goku could only take energy from the planet, and even in the Namek Saga, he was able to take energy from the entire solar system and universe. So just throwing it out there, Goku can reach further, and he can already do this already. Goku can take energy from all beings around the other world, which is a massive feat. Goku was more than ready to fight the Saiyans. So he would then fly full speed. Now, wait a minute. How strong is Goku now? Well, we know that Goku got around 18.8 times stronger in the original, but since his adaptability is so high, he's not fighting an opponent, but with the Kaioken and 10 times gravity, jumping his power level up even more. His power level originally, when he first got used to the gravity, was around 6,000. Now, if you want to add the Kaioken, you can add that times 2. Goku got around 18.8 times stronger in the original. So, adding this together, Goku has a new power level of 225,000, which is insanely high, but again, he has Broly's adaptability. Goku would then fly full speed right back to planet Earth, as he would get there really fast, within an hour or two. Now by this point though, the hour or two was too late, as Goku accidentally misstepped what day was supposed to be happening, and by the time he did arrive, unfortunately too late for one person. Now we know originally the first person that died was actually Yamcha. Yamcha unfortunately would die, as they would get right into the action summoning the Cybermen. But when Goku arrives, he just saw the explosion happen. So he's a little bit late, but not by too much, as now Goku knows that they need to use the Dragon Balls to wish him back. Piccolo is still alive, so this will change some things. Goku, by this point, would still easily defeat Nappa in his way. Now, Piccolo actually being a little bit stronger, he would actually be able to fight Nappa pretty well. Now, this is when Goku would then begin battling Vegeta. Now, his battle with Vegeta was very intense, but Vegeta has no chance. This is when Goku would easily blast him up near outer space, and Vegeta would then summon a fake moon just like before. Once when he becomes a great ape, he would then smirk at Goku, as Goku would actually get a bit more excited. He is actually very strong. But sadly, Vegeta has a battle power of 180,000, which is nothing against nearly 230. Goku would easily punch Vegeta around, and he would then cut off his tail, turning Vegeta back into a normal Saiyan. Vegeta would then crawl away as the damages were very severe. Goku would actually let Vegeta go, and Vegeta would tell him that you will regret saving me. Afterwards, what are they going to do now with Yamcha gone? Well, they can use the Dragon Balls to bring him back, no issue, so they would begin collecting the Dragon Balls, and they would then wish Yamcha back to life. Now, there would actually be peace on Earth, and they would never actually go to Namek because, again, Piccolo never died and Kami never dies, which means Earth Dragon Balls disappeared in the original, but not here. This also means that Frieza doesn't even know about the Dragon Balls, so he would never have a quest to go searching for them. Vegeta and the others never even heard about it, so they don't even know about the Dragon Balls, they just showed up because Goku was insanely powerful. If Frieza did hear something like that, Frieza would probably not really care about it, and he would just keep that Saiyan on his end of the universe and he'll mind his own. After the defeat of Vegeta and Nappa, peace was finally restored to the planet Earth. Things would finally go back to normal. The only thing would change here is the fact that the Namek Saga never happened. Since they used the Dragon Balls back on Earth, and Piccolo never died, it would have actually never needed to go to Namek to begin with. They also never spoke about the Dragon Balls to Vegeta or Raditz or Nappa, so Frieza never knew about the Dragon Balls in the first place. But Frieza would have still been in space doing his own thing, but Frieza would never have the quest to search for immortality with the Namekian Dragon Balls. This also means that Goku never unlocked Super Saiyan as well, fighting Frieza, and Goku never went to planet Yardrat to learn its transmission. So this greatly changes the beginning of the story. There would be peace for the next few years, as Goku would continue training, as fighting Vegeta was fun, but he heard about the Frieza guy before, but he doesn't really consider it since the fact that, well, he's just going to keep on training and growing stronger, and peace is finally restored. But if somebody like Frieza ever shows up, he'll definitely handle it. Now what about Vegeta? Now, if you guys remember, Vegeta was spared just like before. So since Vegeta was spared, he would go off on his own, but he would quickly learn that Frieza considers him a traitor. It's the fact that he lost. So Vegeta would probably land back on Earth just like before, and this is when I think he would start getting with Bulma, just like the original What If, but Vegeta has a new goal. Now Vegeta wants to fight Kakarot and defeat him. That's his biggest goal, but he has a bigger fish to fry first. Frieza. Vegeta's not going to sit here in the universe while Frieza is there on the other side. So Vegeta begins gravity training. As he continues his gravity training, growing stronger and stronger and stronger, this is when Vegeta, like the original, would still fly out into outer space to train and become stronger than Goku. He did also leave to go search for Kakarot, like the original, but this time it's just to grow stronger. Same events would concur, but this time Goku was back at home and he was doing his training nearby. This is when a man would then step up and speak to him. This man was named Trunks, and he came from the future. Trunks would then discuss with Goku, explaining who he was. As they were in private and there was nobody nearby, he would then look around as he was surprised that there was no Frieza or King Cold, but he lets that slide. Maybe going to the past has already changed some things for maybe the better. He would then explain to Goku that within 3 years' time, 2 androids will appear with scary power. They killed the rest of the Z Fighters, and including Master. We all know that this is Gohan. But Goku wonders, they must be really strong. Did he get killed too? Trunks says yes, but it was different. He died to a heart virus. This version of Trunks is actually from the original timeline. He's not from the What If side timeline. Just to keep things more simple. Trunks would then tell Goku the exact date and the exact time. Now, who was the one person that was actually nearby that can hear it? It was actually Piccolo. Piccolo was actually nearby as he was flying towards them, and if you guys know, Piccolo can hear great distances with his ears. It's actually kind of broken. Piccolo could hear the conversation from miles away, and he knew what they were discussing. So he was ready to fly over there to fight Goku again, as he think they deserved a little rematch. But this changed the tale on ahead. Goku was shocked, as even Trunks would explain that Bulma and Vegeta is his mother and father, which shocked him even more. On top of this, Trunks would then give Goku the heart medicine, stating that if he does experience any symptoms, take this immediately, and this should cure him. Once when he's cured, Trunks would then arrive back to help however he can to defeat the androids. Trunks doesn't have much time, so he has to go back. Trunks would then get back in the time machine, and he would then go back to his current future. Goku, after hearing the news, is wondering how he's going to tell his friends without kind of exposing too much. This is when Piccolo would have arrived, and he would have told Goku to kind of be quiet since he heard the whole thing. But he agrees with Goku that they'll keep quiet about some things, but explain that there's a powerful threat coming within the next 3 years. This is when they get all the Z Fighters squared away, and then Goku would then communicate to everybody, explaining to them the best that he can, with the help of Piccolo, that within 3 years' time, there will be these androids that will appear. Somebody told him that Dr. Gero was working on these creatures. And this actually intrigued Bulma, as she'd heard of Dr. Gero before, but oddly enough, heard that he died a long time ago. It's impossible for him to be alive, but she heard about him a little bit. Now, he used to work for Capsule Corp a long time ago. This is when Goku states that, well, we have 3 years to train harder than ever, as these threats apparently are super powerful. Goku never tells nobody about the heart virus, but I think he also forgot about it too, since it's been so long. So this is when Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan will do the similar training that they have done before. So for the next 3 years, they will continue training. This is where some difference is going to occur. Since Goku does have the adaptability, he will grow at a much higher rate than before. Goku, again, does not have Super Saiyan, but he does have Kaioken, so he's actually been practicing it. He can easily reach Kaioken times 20. And the fact that he's been training it more and more, he can push it to the point to where times 20 doesn't really damage him that much anymore, because his body is adapting to it non-stop. Now, Goku's base power is much higher than it originally was, and even the likes of Piccolo is way stronger, and especially Gohan, who has gotten the biggest growth so far. This is when 3 years later, the Z Fighters would then prepare, and they would then fly to the exact location. This is where we would see Dr. Gero in Android 19. Just like the original, the two androids would still appear, and Goku would then challenge them first, as he would then fight Android 19 in base form. The two of them would then clash fists back and forth, as it was hard for Goku to keep up with him because of the fact that he cannot sense his energy, as they seem to have limitless power, but it cannot be sensed. The android knew that Goku never had Super Saiyan in general as well, as since Super Saiyan's not really here yet. So the androids are actually a little bit stronger than they were originally, but not as strong as they could have been. And we'll get to Cell in a little bit. With the fact that Android 19 and Goku would continue fighting, Goku would then begin powering up, using Kaioken times 20, which would greatly increase his power. He would then start to easily mop the floor with Android 19, just like he did in the original, overpowering him easily. But over time, his attacks were doing less and less damage, and his power was actually dropping fast. Goku began sweating and grabbing his chest, as it was the heart virus. This is when Android 19 would then grab his face and start to absorb his power. But once when Goku was then knocked down, this is when Vegeta would then save him in a way. Vegeta would then state, the only one who's going to be killing Kakarot is me. Vegeta would then tell the android, I'm going to show you power they've never seen in thousands of years. This is when Vegeta would then transform into a Super Saiyan, which would shock the two androids, as they never knew that Goku had this kind of power, and the fact that there wasn't even a power like this before. They thought that Goku's power was already strong enough with this Kaioken. They weren't expecting this golden power of a Super Saiyan. Vegeta's pride was higher than ever, as Vegeta believed that he has and he is the first Super Saiyan in his eyes, the fact that he is the prince. So his pride and ego is higher than ever, as Vegeta would easily mop the floor with Android 19. As also too, this version of Vegeta is actually a little bit stronger, because he has a higher goal to reach in surpassing Goku, and he's pushing himself harder than ever. So Vegeta's power is actually even stronger than the original. Android 19 has no chance, as Vegeta would rip his arms off and Android 19 in fear would then run away. This is when Vegeta would then laugh, as he would then launch him into the air and then make him explode, doing the dirty fireworks. Dr. Gero was in shock, as he would then try running away, and this is when he was able to escape because of the fact that his energy cannot be sensed. Piccolo found him. Piccolo had actually handled much better against Dr. Gero than he did before, because of how powerful Piccolo was. But Dr. Gero would then surprise him by doing a sneak attack and then being able to escape. But he was gravely injured. Missing an arm and a leg, he was just able to fly to the lab. They were still searching around trying to find it, but he had just enough time to revive Android 17 and Android 18. Both the androids are now revived. He would then command both of them to go destroy them. The androids would just stare at him, and they would explain that no, they're going to do something else. These androids would then easily destroy Dr. Gero, and they would actually bring out Android 16. And they would then walk down the street, as this is when we're going to have Vegeta's fight. Now, how powerful are these androids? Well, these androids are actually a little bit stronger than they are in the original timeline, but not by a massive margin. But it is still noticeable. Luckily, when Vegeta goes to fight Android 18, though sadly he is a little bit stronger, she has grown in power as well. And she wasn't really trying against that version of Vegeta. She easily outclassed him, breaking both of his arms. This is when Vegeta would then transform back into the Super Saiyan, and he would begin battling Android 18, and he would seem like he's doing good at first until she would then get irritated at destroyed her clothes. This is when she would start to easily overpower Vegeta, easily breaking his arm, but knowing Vegeta, he would not give up and he would try to attack her again. This is when she would then fly in, not holding back, and break his other arm, launching him back as he was defeated. Trunks would have arrived at this time, as this is when Trunks would then fly in, trying to attack both the androids, but he would have no chance at all. Now this is when Android 18 would still kiss Granolah on the cheek and flirt with him, as they would then let them go. These androids are still a bit more passive and a bit more pure-hearted than the other evil androids from the original future timeline. This is when they would then run around and begin their quest of causing chaos and having fun wherever they can go, of course. Now, what about Goku? Well, Goku would then arrive at Master Roshi's house, and this is when he was being helped by Chi-Chi. As you guys remember, this is when Goku's heart virus hit him full force, and he was out of commission completely. With him and the others all being out of commission, what are the Z Fighters have to do? This is where some changes are going to occur, as now, with Vegeta out of commission, This is when Piccolo knows that he needs to make a decision. Piccolo would then meet, of course, Android 17 and 18, and he would then challenge them to a fight. With them now challenging them to a fight, this is when Piccolo and Android 17 would have their legendary battle. Piccolo actually being stronger, he was actually able to keep up with Android 17 and handle himself even a little bit better, but he was starting to lose on the stamina end, but he was able to contend and go toe-to-toe with Android 17, which would shock the other two androids with how strong Piccolo was actually able to get. Now during this time, this is when Vegeta and Trunks would then go into the Room of Spirit and Time. Now Goku was still healing up at this point, as this is when Cell would then make his appearance. Now as you guys know, Cell killed Trunks in the other timeline and he then jumped to this one, so this is the normal version of Cell that we are used to. Though he does have Frieza's DNA and etc. and more, so this is when Cell would then find them. And Piccolo would then tell Android 17 to get far away from here. Cell would then trick them, as Cell would have easily nearly killed Piccolo, blasting a hole right through his chest and throwing him to the side. This is when he would then challenge Android 17 to fight him. Android 17 would then rush in, attacking Cell. He would actually do a little bit better than the original version, but Cell still has more tricks up his sleeve. He would then yell out the solar flare technique, and he would then absorb Android 17. This would then make Cell evolve and turn into semi-perfect Cell. With semi-perfect Cell here, Android 16 will be easily overpowered by this version of Cell, as now this version of Cell absorbing a stronger android, he is a little bit stronger, but not by a massive margin. It's still pretty much relevant to his normal power. This is when him and Android 18 would then be able to hide, as Tien was able to use the Tri-Beam, and Krillin would also help them get away. This is when Vegeta would have gotten out with Trunks, and this is when Vegeta would then go to battle Cell. With Vegeta now turning into his ascended Super Saiyan form into Super Vegeta, like the original, he would start to dominate Cell, overpowering him without much of an issue. Cell would try everything in his power to battle this version of Vegeta, but sadly, it was not enough. Vegeta was far too powerful, as he was overpowering Cell with ease. This would then make Cell desperate. Cell would then try to mess with Vegeta, telling him that if he absorbs Android 18, he'll become perfect, and he can never defeat him. This would actually pique Vegeta's interest, as Vegeta would then make one of the dumbest decisions other than Goku giving Cell a Sensu Bean, and he would then allow Cell to absorb Android 18. With Android 18 absorbed, Cell would then become Perfect Cell. With Cell now perfected, Vegeta's attack seemed futile against this version of Cell, who's just warming up against Vegeta. Vegeta would then charge up his full power Final Flash, and he would then hit Cell full force, and it would nearly injure Cell badly, blasting his arm off, but he would then instantly heal, saying that he really needed that. He would then easily overpower Vegeta, as he has no chance against this version of Cell. This is when Trunks would then go into Super Saiyan Grade 3 form and bulk up massively, becoming the Wish version of Broly, and he would actually max Cell in terms of strength. But Cell was far too fast, and he was still holding back. He would then overpower Trunks as well. But Cell was still interested in the growth of the Saiyans, so Cell would actually let them live, and he would still host the Cell games just like before, giving them multiple days to continue training and to continue growing stronger. Cell would then battle the military, and he would actually battle Mr. Satan just like before, where Mr. Satan would defeat him, but that was in his dreams. As Cell would then make the new arena and destroy the military, this is when Goku has already awakened from his heart virus problem, and he was already fully recovered. Now this is when him and Gohan would then go into the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Now again, Goku does not know about Super Saiyan. He's not officially seen it. He did sense Vegeta's power level spike massively, same with Trunks. But no, he's not actually seen Super Saiyan yet, surprisingly. But he would still go inside with Gohan, and they would then continue their training. Goku did wonder what that spike in power that Vegeta and Trunks had. It was incredible. But for the 1 year, he would then train Gohan just like before. And during their training, Gohan's anger would then spike, and then Goku would then see something incredible. He would then see Gohan Super Saiyan, which was still very powerful, and it surprised him. With Gohan actually being able to keep up with Goku, since you guys need to understand, Gohan's potential is busted comparing to Goku's adaptability, so it's a perfect mixture. As now Goku is growing at a fast rate, and with Goku pushing Gohan, it's a perfect rising scale. So this version of Goku and Gohan are way stronger than they were in the original. Gohan was even able to use Kaioken as well. Now, Piccolo would know about Super Saiyan, but he wouldn't really tell him. Now, once when Goku and Gohan would then get out, They would then figure out about Super Saiyan, but Goku's not really worried about it, really. As, could they go back in and fight Cell? They could, but Goku doesn't really want to. He thinks that him and his son are plenty strong enough to give their best shot. As he saw Gohan Super Saiyan with the rage, he knows how powerful he can be. But Goku would save that as a last resort, as Gohan still has much to grow, and that's not a betting thing. But Goku knows, in case it happens, Gohan's the trump card that could save their life. But Goku wonders what he can do. He knows that he can beat Cell. This is when the Cell games would then begin. As Goku, Gohan, and the others would then all arrive, Goku would then step up first to battle Cell in base form. Cell would actually be impressed that Goku has the guts to fight him and not transform into a Super Saiyan. Goku states that he's never actually tried to transform before, he never even heard of it until recently. And Vegeta would then smirk as he thinks that him and his son are the only actual Super Saiyan. Vegeta understands why Trunks is a Super Saiyan because he has his royal blood in him. So this is why he thinks that him and his royal blood are the only one that are allowed to turn Super Saiyan. He doesn't know about Gohan turning Super Saiyan, and they never talked about it in general. But Gohan knows that he could if he really needed to, but he's afraid of it. Goku's battle with Cell would be intense, as Goku was easily overpowered by Cell in the beginning, but he would quickly start adapting to Cell's attacks, growing stronger and stronger. Cell was honestly shocked by this power, as he never knew that Goku could actually grow this strong. This is when Goku would finally try out Super Saiyan, as this is when Cell has gone to full power, and he would start to overpower Goku a little bit. This is when Goku's S cells will begin skyrocketing. As Goku's S cells will begin charging up, he would then look at his hand, and he would then burst into Super Saiyan for the first time, easily controlling the power, which would shock everybody, mainly Vegeta, who would then scowl in anger, as he thought he was the only Super Saiyan other than his son. How? How is a low-class Saiyan able to turn into a Super Saiyan? It makes no sense. This version of Goku as a Super Saiyan is so much more powerful than the original. He's even stronger than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But Gohan's not even needed to jump into the fight. Goku would easily overpower Cell, delivering a powerful gut punch to him like Gohan did, which would then make Cell spit out Android 18 and Android 17. Both androids were able to spit out because, remember, Gohan was fighting Cell for a while, and then he hit Android 18 near the end of the fight. This is the beginning of the fight, and Goku already did that. So I want Android 17 to come back, so Android 17 was actually spit out as well. This would then make Cell actually turn into his perfect form. Now with Cell in his first form, Cell would begin panicking, as now he's going to try and reabsorb the androids. Goku knows not to waste any time with this version of Cell, and he knows that Cell could do some dangerous things, and he warned Gohan about this in the original to end him quickly. Goku then charged up a Kamehameha. He would then kick Cell into the air and fire at full blast, completely obliterating Cell. There will be no trace of Cell left over. With Cell completely destroyed, this would then change the events of the story a lot more. Since the fact that Cell was killed, Goku never died like the original. That means that he never went to the other world. This also means that Gohan never unlocked Super Saiyan technically, and never officially unlocked Super Saiyan 2. This also means that Android 17 was also brought back as well, so not just 18, it's also 17. Most of the events would then go similar, as they would then wish back everybody, and other than that, nothing else would really change. Though other than Goku now being alive, Goten would still be born, just like before, and his potential would still be busted like it always is. So 7 years apiece, Goku would continue training. Now during these 7 years, Vegeta would have actually left to go into outer space to continue training. This version of Vegeta still has one thing he needs to do right. Vegeta would actually go battle Frieza. Vegeta would then fly off in a space pod, flying all the way across the universe, and he would then arrive at Frieza Planet 79, where Frieza was holed up at. His whole army was there, also the Ginyu Force and etc. was there. Vegeta would then show up and smirk, as he's been waiting for this. His men would then try to attack Vegeta, as he would easily swat them like flies out of his way. This is when Dodoria and Zarbon would begin attacking Vegeta. Vegeta would easily kill Dodoria with a single strike. And Kui was there as well, and he was in shock seeing this. Vegeta would then tell him that he has no idea how long he's been waiting for this. To kill him, for them torturing him, and they underestimate his Saiyan power. He doesn't even need Super Saiyan, as he was easily able to one-shot Zarbon and Kui. This is when Frieza would then set the Ginyu Force on Vegeta, as Jace, Birder, and course, Raccoon and Guldo would all jump him at the same time. Vegeta would easily block all of their attacks, smirking, as he was having no trouble using all of his 4 limbs, his hands and his feet, to block their attacks. He would then easily kick Guldo in the neck, killing him, and he would then grab Jace by the head and nearly crush his head in. Vegeta would then toss him to the side, as he would then charge up his bluish aura, and he would then tell them that they have no chance of defeating him. He is the strongest in the universe. As Raccoon was in shock, saying that Birder, he would then fly in and deliver a Black Frieza punch, as he did to Vegeta and Goku, to both of them, killing them instantly. This is when Captain Ginyu would then appear, and he would begin battling Vegeta. He would then tap his Stouter and see that his Stouter would then launch all the way up, going past 200,000 before it would explode. This is when Vegeta would then fly in and overpower Ginyu easily. Ginyu, in a panic, would actually try using the Change Now technique, as it would fly towards Vegeta, but Vegeta was much faster. He was able to easily dodge it and then fire a Gallic Gun, completely wiping out Ginyu off the face of the planet. With Frieza's men now swarming Vegeta, he would then extend his hands out, screaming, as his ki would then shoot everywhere, killing the tens of thousands of Frieza soldiers, ending them all. This is when Frieza would then fly out, and he would then land in front of Vegeta in his first form. Vegeta would then smirk and say that he's been waiting for this moment. For so long, he's been waiting to battle Frieza. Frieza would then be irritated that most of his planet was destroyed, but he was amazed. How did he grow so strong in just a few short years? He even offers Vegeta to come join him. He could be his right-hand man. Vegeta would then laugh and say that you need to be the dog to me, as you are nothing to me. I am far superior. I am the strongest in the universe. And Vegeta wants Frieza to feel all the pain that he suffered to the other Saiyan race, and he wants him to feel what it feels like to be powerless against him, as he is a Super Saiyan. Frieza would then begin bursting out into laughter, saying that a Super Saiyan isn't possible. It's just a myth. But Vegeta will shut his words up very soon. As Vegeta would begin powering up his base form, shocking Frieza, Frieza would then fly in his first form and begin attacking Vegeta, who would easily block his attacks and nearly shatter him in half, punching right through him almost. Frieza now having a bad wound, he would then transform into his second form, growing larger in size. Vegeta would then smirk, saying, now we're getting more interesting. Is this actually your full power, or are you still holding back? He would then fly in, overpowering Frieza once again. Frieza would then fire a massive Ki Blast attack, but Vegeta would easily deflect it, grabbing him by the horn and ripping it off and stabbing his face with it. As Vegeta here is ruthless, he's back to his old Saiyan roots again, and he's going to make sure that Frieza suffers a fate worse than death. This is when Frieza would then skip his third form, as he would then go into his final form. This is when Vegeta gets excited. Now we're talking. Will he actually prove a challenge to his base form? Frieza will begin powering up to 50%, as the fight will be much more closer. With both of them fighting back and forth, Vegeta would begin to overpower Frieza once again, but he was having much more fun this time. This is when Vegeta would then tell Frieza to use your full power, do not hold back on me. This is when Frieza would then go to 80% of his power. This is when 80 to 70% he would begin to overpower Vegeta now, as Frieza's sanity was already dropping at this point, but he would then scream in victory as he was beating down on Vegeta through the rock slides, and he was then telling him that how does his power taste? Do you see that you can never defeat me? With all that power and all that training, I am still superior to you. As Vegeta was then launched through, as Frieza would then fire a death ball right at Vegeta, which would then cause a massive explosion. Vegeta would then rise out of the rubble as his top armor was torn off. Vegeta would then smirk. As Vegeta would have a little bit of blood coming out of his mouth, he would then state that now he's really warmed up. As he would then tell Frieza that he's been waiting to show him this, his true form. As Vegeta would begin powering up, his hair would then turn into a golden color, his eyes into a tealish blue, his muscles would then bulk in size as he would then transform into a Super Saiyan. This would shock Frieza, as how is this possible? Frieza would then begin to attack Vegeta, but his blows would do nothing against the prince, as he would then stand there and smirk, taking his attacks. This is when he would then slap Frieza right to the ground, and then he would begin to torture the Emperor, almost snapping him in half like Goku did, and giving him the Super Saiyan Goku treatment to Frieza did on Namek. As Frieza has no chance, this is when Vegeta's going to really enjoy it, but he would then charge in to end it, but he would then stop, as Frieza was doing something. He begins bulking up. Frieza was panicking, as he didn't think he would make it to his full power, Vegeta would even sit there and wait. King Kai would actually chime in seeing what's happening, and he would even tell Vegeta to stop him now before he goes into his full power. Vegeta's not as nice as Goku. He would tell King Kai to shut up and get out of his head. It's his battle, he's gonna die as a warrior. And the fact that even though Frieza's gonna go to his full power, he wants to defeat Frieza at his best, so he can prove that he's not some low-class monkey like Kakarot is. He will kill Frieza at his best. That is the Saiyan way. And then he would block King Kai out of his mind. This is when King Kai would then hope that Vegeta knows what he's doing. Even though King Kai can sense that Vegeta is still holding back a lot of power, he's still worried because he's never seen Frieza go all out before. Vegeta would then be smirking, telling Frieza to go on ahead. He'll give him all the time he needs to do his full power. It'll make his victory and killing of him even more sweet. So he's more embarrassed when he's in hell burning the fact that he used his full power against him and he could never defeat what he is. Frieza would, with one final scream, finally use his full power. This is when Vegeta would then charge his Saiyan aura, as the two would then clash of a golden and blue aura, both of them trading blows back and forth. Frieza would then get the upper hand on Vegeta, punching him right in the stomach and then launching him down into the planet as he would continue punching him repeatedly. This is when Vegeta would then smirk, as he would then grab his hand and push it back, as he would then let go and state, "Is that all you really got?" As Vegeta was perfectly fine. He actually expected Frieza to be higher power level than that. The great Frieza? Frieza was shocked that his attacks did little to no effect, even with his full power. As Vegeta would then show him, even though it's not needed, "I'm going to show you how strong I really am. I'll give you at least that bit of pleasure, because it's going to be even better watching your face." As this is when Vegeta would then bulk even bigger in size, looking more cool, as he would then turn into an ascended Super Saiyan. At his full strength, he can one-shot Frieza at this point. This is when Frieza was in shock. He would then look at the planet and try to fire an attack to destroy it. Vegeta would easily deflect the blast, and he would then fly in at Frieza, delivering a few gut punches to him, making him roll over in pain. This is when Vegeta would then put a blast right in front of his face, and he would tell him that he has been waiting for this moment, and for Frieza to feel fear. This is when Frieza would even beg for mercy, which would make Vegeta smirk, as it's even better for him. Vegeta will state that I'll see you in hell, as he would then fire the Big Bang attack and completely obliterate Frieza, killing the Emperor once and for all. Vegeta would then begin laughing hysterically as he's done it. He is the supreme being of the universe, other than Goku, and he is truly a legend. This is when Vegeta would then get back in his Saiyan space pod, and he would then go back home, as a massive part of him has been lifted off of his shoulders. The next goal is to surpass Kakarot, but that one can be for later. He has plenty of time, but Kakarot now actually on Earth, he doesn't need to wait for 7 years to even get an opportunity to fight him. So this is when Vegeta would then arrive back and continue his gravity training, pushing his gravity to nearly 200 to 300 to even more times gravity to grow even stronger. This is when Goku would continue training as well with Gohan and even Goten a few years later, as Goku knows that Vegeta knows as well that when that tournament comes around in the next few years, they're definitely going to have their rematch. After Vegeta was able to defeat Frieza, peace was finally restored on Earth, as it was 7 years of peace. Goten would still be born in this timeline, but Goku never died like the original. This means that Goku would have never gone to the other world and begin his training. Now, as you guys know, this means that there is no Super Saiyan 3, and Goku has no knowledge of the fusion dance as well. So this does change some of the impact of the story. The biggest character change would also be Vegeta. Vegeta is still bitter that Kakarot is still superior to him. That will never go away. But he was actually able to defeat Frieza by himself, as a Saiyan warrior should, and avenge his pride there. And also, he's able to push Goku and push his power to new heights. Vegeta can now fight Goku whenever he wants. Since Goku is not dead, Vegeta never had the mindset that he would never fight him again, and his chance of defeating him is gone forever. He only had the one opportunity in the 24 hours to beat him. That is why Vegeta would even got taken over by Babidi in the first place, to get his one shot of beating Goku. Goku's alive, they fought dozens of times during the 7 years. So Vegeta respects Kakarot. as the two are actually closer allies than even the original because Vegeta respects his power. He understands that he's better and that he is the best. It's a similar speech to when he watched Goku fight Kid Buu and he understands where his power lies. Vegeta still is a stubborn Saiyan as is. He will still continue his training, and he would also be training Trunks as well. Now on Goku's end, he would actually be training Goten. And him training Goten, this would even make Goten way stronger than he was originally. Vegeta only recently started training with Trunks, but even then, Trunks would just hang around and Vegeta wouldn't really do too much training, but he would do a little bit, as he was more focusing on himself. But Goku's different. Goku can do slight training and grow much stronger, as we know with Broly's adaptability is similar to Gohan's. So this means that Goku has plenty of time to train Goten anyway. Gohan would also stay in shape as well, so this means that Gohan never drops severely in power. So Gohan is actually a little bit stronger than he originally was, and he can access Super Saiyan no issue as well. As since it's been 7 years, Vegeta also does have access to Super Saiyan 2. While although they never seen it, but I feel like Vegeta being a genius in fighting anyway, he would know that there is a power beyond the ascended form, and they have 7 years. I definitely think that Vegeta would have enough time to be able to train and grow this form. This also means that Goku would also have the power too, but Goku is so strong at this point that the Super Saiyan 2 doesn't really matter against some of these opponents. During these 7 years, all of the family would still meet up for the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, just like before. Now this is where some changes are going to occur. They would still meet the Supreme Kai and Kibito. Now Piccolo would still step out of the ring as he doesn't want to fight them. Gohan would have already been in school. As Chi-Chi would have still kept his studies up, he would have still became the Golden Warrior and then became the Great Saiyan Man that we all know and love. Him and Videl would have gotten very close. Videl would have still been severely wounded by Spopovich, but Gohan would have saved her with the Sensu Bean. Gohan would then step into the ring with Kibito and he would begin powering up. Gohan would then turn into a Super Saiyan, and this power is already stronger than he was in the original Buu saga. Gohan would then burst into Super Saiyan 2. With Gohan's potential and the fact that Goku is 50-50 on training, Gohan has stated himself that he can train every now and again to not even get rusty. But since his father is around to keep pushing him throughout the years, Gohan also knows that he needs to grow stronger in case anything happens, and his father is not around. And Chi-Chi I think would accept it over time, but Gohan needs to keep his studies up as well. If he can get his studies and keep passing, then he can keep training. But Gohan was able to unlock Super Saiyan 2. This would actually surprise Vegeta, as he didn't know that Gohan actually had this. As this was kind of a surprise, but Goku was not surprised at all and smiling, and he was very proud, and Piccolo was smirking as well. Goten, when he fought Trunks, would have actually been a much closer fight, but I definitely feel like Goten would have actually been able to defeat him. Since Goten had many more years training with his father pretty much every single day, he would have been able to grow at a much faster rate than Trunks, who only recently started training. And even the training that Trunks did with his father was more or less if you can hit me and walk around in some gravity. But that's roughly it. Now, Goten would have beaten Trunks, but it would have still been a very close fight. With Goten the winner of the Junior Division, Goku gets another point on the Awesome Dad list. Vegeta, of course, is a little bit bitter about it, but he knows that he should have trained him younger, and it's his fault. But he'll make sure that next time the next tournament happens, his son ain't gonna lose, as he is royal. Once when Gohan showed off Super Saiyan 2 to Kibito, this is when they would have taken Gohan's energy. Now this is when Goku, Supreme Kai, Vegeta, and the others would have all left to go follow the energy source leading to Bobby's ship. Once when they arrived, stealing Gohan's energy was actually enough to revive Majin Buu, since Gohan is much stronger. Now Gohan is still recovering, but he is able to access Super Saiyan like we saw, as once when they drained his energy, Gohan struggled to stay in Super Saiyan 2, but even in Super Saiyan, if Gohan would have fought any of the characters, maybe other than Buu, Gohan would have been easily able to knock one of all them out, and Gohan even has a very good chance of beating Majin Buu. Now, this is once when they go inside of the ship, Vegeta would have fought Pui Pui just like before and defeated him with no effort at all. This is when Goku would have fought Yakon, and he wouldn't even need to turn Super Saiyan. He would have just powered up his aura, and that would have been more than enough to completely obliterate him. Bobby was getting nervous, as the power of these two were ridiculously high. He would then send out Deborah and also change the area. Now, Gohan would actually battle Dabura, and even in Super Saiyan, Dabura would be quickly outmatched. But there's one twist, as Dabura would then spit on Gohan, and Gohan was not expecting it, as he would then turn into stone, which would shock everybody, as the Supreme Kai would then tell them, but he was a little bit late of telling them, as then he said that if you kill him, then the stone effect will go away. Vegeta would then step in and state that he'll handle it himself, but then he was attacked. Mentally. Babidi was using all of his magic to try and corrupt Vegeta. As the Supreme Kai was trying to help Vegeta and tell him to just stop and to basically beat it, as Vegeta could if he wanted to. This would then give Dabura time to actually spit on Vegeta and turn him into stone as well. Goku was shocked by this, as Babidi was a bit mad, as he probably could have taken over his mind, but he's actually glad that Dabura did, because if he beated him, then he would have missed his chance to get a hit on him. Now by this point, Babidi did have enough energy, so once when he arrived outside, Buu was revived. Goku would have then looked up, seeing Buu then appear, as he seemed like the complete opposite of what he imagined. Buu seemed really childish. He seemed pure-hearted, like a naughty child. He didn't know any better. Goku can sense it. You can sense good within him. As Buu would then hop around, and Dabura was not very happy, seeing that this is the feared Majin Buu, the monster of the universe. This is it. As Buu would then quickly change, Goku can sense the evil appear, as Buu would then stab his eyes out, and this is when Dabura would try to attack Buu, but Buu would easily overpower him, and then this is when Buu would then turn him into candy and then eat Dabura as a large cookie. This is when Babidi would then begin laughing, as he would then persuade Buu pretty easily with, of course, cake and candy. He would then tell Buu to destroy that Saiyan right there, destroy Goku. Supreme Kai was terrified as he ran off, as he can't do much against Buu. This is when Goku would then challenge Buu to a match, as he was actually getting excited. Now, since Dabura was actually eaten and killed, Vegeta Gohan was actually brought back from stone. Vegeta was fuming, and he wanted to fight that pink blob, but Goku put his hand out and state that it's his turn first, as Buu wants to fight Goku, as Buu can sense that Goku's the strongest out of them all. Him and Buu would then fly up into the air, as the two would begin their match. Babidi would then float and watch from a distance, as he would then see Goku begin to power up. Goku powering up even his base form was enough to shock everybody, but Gohan knew his father's true strength, and he just stared in admiration. As Vegeta, he knew Goku's power, but he never seen Goku get excited like this in a very long time. And Goku states that he's been training harder than ever to push his power even more. He doesn't even know what his limit is. Goku began powering up, and his power level was already far elapsing Buu's, even in base form. Buu was in shock of Goku's power, as Goku would then fly in and easily overpower Fat Buu with no effort. Majin Buu would then try to use the candy beam, and he would actually hit Goku with it. But Goku, just like Vegeta, would be able to retain his full control of his body, as he was a jawbreaker, the strongest candy that there is, and he would overpower Buu, hitting all around him, as he was too fast. And Buu was too fat and slow to even touch him. Babidi was utterly shocked how this is possible. Babidi doesn't even know how he can defeat this kind of magic, as Buu would then turn him back, as Buu was running out of options. Now by this point, Buu is starting to lose interest in fighting, as he can't beat Goku. Goku would have then put the beat down on Buu, easily overpowering him in their matchup, but he would then spare Buu and tell him that the actual bad guy is Babidi. You're pure-hearted, and you don't deserve to be told what to do by somebody. Buu would then turn on Babidi and actually cut him in half and kill him, making him explode. This is when Buu would then be sent off on his own, which Vegeta would be very angry. He would then explain why he would even think about doing that. Goku would explain that Majin Buu's pure. He's pure-hearted, he can sense it. He's like a naughty child, doesn't know any better. And if he even acts up at all, then he'll stop him. Vegeta hates the idea, even Gohan, but they would have to accept Goku's choice, as, well, he's the one that fought and it's his final saying, as Goku was the one that defeated him. Now, who would have actually won if they would have fought Buu? Vegeta would have had a much tougher time, as Vegeta's pushing himself harder than he even did before. Vegeta stated that during the Buu saga, he trained harder than he ever physically thought that he could, but knowing Vegeta, he could push himself even harder. But Vegeta wouldn't grow crazy much in power, but he would be a little bit stronger than himself when he was taken over by the Majin control in the original. So he would be stronger than Majin Vegeta, and with Super Saiyan 2, he would have a pretty good showing against Fat Buu. With the final flash, I think he probably could have killed Buu, or if he would have self-destructed, Buu would have died. Now, Gohan in Super Saiyan 2 at full strength being serious, he would have been able to defeat Buu pretty easily. This version of Gohan has strength similar in levels of Ultimate Gohan, but not just there yet, as remember he's keeping his studies up, so he couldn't train to his full potential. Now Kibito and the others were shocked with how Goku just spared them, but well, what are they gonna do? They can't stop Buu personally. Now, Supreme Kai's main thing was to try and get Buu resealed. But that will not be happening, unfortunately, so he will just let Goku handle it if Buu gets out of control. He would actually offer the likes of Gohan to come train, and the reason for this is because they see his potential and the fact that he could grow. Now, the Supreme Kai would have offered it to Goku, but he thinks that he doesn't really think that his training will really do anything. Vegeta would instantly butt in and state that he's being trained too, and the Supreme Kai actually would. He says that his strength is incredible too. So, Supreme Kai and Kibito would actually take Vegeta and Gohan to the other world to begin their training. Now, this means that Vegeta never died, like the original, he never sacrificed himself. And this also means that Gohan was not taken originally because people thought that he died because of what Buu did, but they would begin their training. Now, Gohan and Vegeta would have traded the Z-Sword back and forth, as Vegeta and Gohan were both able to lift it and use it, but the sword was not Vegeta's style. Once when he was able to move it no problem after the training, he would just hand it to Gohan, as that's not his style to fight with a sword. Now, during this time, Goku would have been able to go keep an eye on Buu, making sure that there's no problems. Now, the Supreme Kai would have actually Kai'd back, with the help of King Kai passing transmission. He would have told King Kai, and he would ask them to go see his son and how their training is going. Remember, Kibito can travel across the side of the universe as well, alongside Kai. They would pick up Goku instantly and instantly teleport back to the Kai world, where they would then test this awesome sword out, as in case Majin Buu ever acts out, Gohan can also stop it too. Now, in terms of power scaling, Vegeta has grown a lot at this point. Now, he's already nearing the levels of Fat Buu just by the training alone, and Super Saiyan 2, he could definitely fight Fat Buu and overpower him for sure. Now, in terms of abilities alone too, I think that Buu could maybe out-stamina Vegeta, and he would not have much of a chance, but Vegeta's raw power far exceeds Buu. Gohan has grown the most. This version of Gohan is already stronger than Mystic Gohan was in the Buu saga, which is not too far-fetched because of the training that they're doing. Gohan can fully focus on it, and he's already much stronger than he was in the original. Now, once when they would try out the Z-Sword on Ketchin, which is the strongest metal in the known universe, it would then obliterate the sword, snapping it in half, which would then shock everybody. But then from the sword would then come out Elder Kai, who was sealed away roughly 75 million years ago by a certain character. The Elder Kai would then explain who he is, and Goku would try punching him in the face, comically just like before. He would then offer to help train, of course, Vegeta and Gohan, who are under the Kai training. He would even offer Goku to unlock his potential, but he states that his potential is already pretty much outputted at the maximum already. Doing this wouldn't really change much. And also, Goku would decline it, as Goku doesn't like being given power in the first place. Even though unlocking his potential could have helped him out more, as by that point he would have been near God level, but by that point he would have declined it. He doesn't like being given power, he wants to earn it himself. He just wanted to come by and see his sons, and of course go see Vegeta. Now, this is when he's going to go back to Earth to make sure nothing bad happens with Buu. So first would go up would definitely be Vegeta, as he definitely wants to see this power for himself. So the Elder Kai would begin his dance just like the original, and roughly 20 so hours later he would then finish. Vegeta would then unlock his new potential Unleashed form, and it would greatly boost his power. This version of Vegeta with his potential is already high as is, he's way stronger than Mystic Gohan was, and he's starting to grow near the levels of Buu to roughly weaker levels of Buuhan by that point in Mystic. Gohan with the Mystic has seen the biggest growth. By that point, he is in the Buuhan levels. Even stronger than that, he's near the Vegito levels, roughly the weaker Super Saiyan version of Vegito, or you could say Gogeta from the Janemba movie, which is insanely strong. considering the fact that Buu easily overpowered Gohan, and Buuhan is way stronger than that. And Vegito is easily stronger than Buuhan, not even laughable, as Buuhan had no chance of even touching him. Goku kept an eye on Buu, but he see that Buu made his own home, and he befriended Mr. Satan and the dog Bee, and Goku sees he was happy, so he would have left heading home. This is when an assassin would then try to actually kill Buu, or Hercule would then be shot, trying to protect him. This is when Bee was also shot as well. Buu would then snap. He would then heal Mr. Satan and Bee, and he would then yell at him to get away, telling him to go. As something was happening, he was splitting. Steam was shooting off of him. As then, from the steam, evil Buu appeared. This version of Buu would then look down at Fat Buu, and he would then attack him head on. But unfortunately, the evil overcame the good, as Buu had no chance against this version. Buu would then try to use his candy beam, but he would then blow the beam right back onto Buu, turning him into chocolate. He would then eat Majin Buu and become Super Buu. Goku would then sense this big surge in power appear. He thought he sensed the evil ki, and he sensed Majin Buu getting weaker. Goku was on his way there, as it was too late. Super Buu was born. He would then actually spare Hercule, and he would then leave. Now this is when he would then meet up with Goku, to where Buu would begin his fight. Now even though Super Buu is very powerful, he has no chance against Goku still, as Goku still in base form is still overpowering Super Buu. But Goku is starting to use more power output for sure. He's overpowering Super Buu with ease, giving him the Mystic Gohan treatment. As Buu has no chance and he sees that, he's getting desperate. But he senses two power sources nearby, Vegeta and Gohan. This is when Super Buu would then let his antenna be cut off, as Vegeta and Gohan would then stand nearby. They would then land near a rock face and then wait. This was Buu's chance. Once when Goku dropped his guard, as he does, he would then be able to use the antenna and absorb Vegeta and Gohan, who were all in their mystic forms. This made Buu way stronger than he was. Buuhan, by this point, is way stronger than he was in the original. He was definitely near Vegito levels of power for sure. Way stronger than that even. Having the fact that he had Gohan, who's Vegito levels of power, on top of Vegeta, who's near Vegito levels of power as well. So imagine Vegito times 2. Buu is definitely insanely OP. Goku would then smirk, as this is getting him excited. Buuhan would begin attacking Goku in base form, where he would actually overpower him, as Goku was shocked with the raw power that he had. This would make Goku bleed, as he was being knocked around everywhere. Goku's adaptability was rising faster and faster, but Goku wasn't transforming. Goku likes to slowly start powering up as the fight goes on, as that's just Goku's play, that's how he is. As this is actually a way to test the opponent and see where does he gauge. Goku's base form has no chance. His adaptability is rising quickly, but he's starting to reach the limit of it, just like how Broly did. This is when Goku would then burst into his Super Saiyan form, and he would actually be able to keep up with Buuhan pretty evenly. Buuhan would begin struggling as he was shocked with how strong Goku was. He would begin trading blows back and forth, having a seemingly equal match, as it was intense. Goku's top G was nearly torn off, leaving the blue shirt only. It was a very intense matchup. With Buu's stretchy abilities, he would start getting the upper hand on Goku, but then Goku would then catch his fist, and he would then turn into a Super Saiyan 2, increasing his power. Goku was getting excited, as his blood was pumping more than it ever has in a very long time. Goku in Super Saiyan 2 would then relax himself, as he would easily start overpowering Super Buu. At this point, Buu would then see that each attack that he does, Goku is continuously growing stronger and stronger and stronger. His adaptability is rising. By this point, he's already Vegeta level compared to Buuhan like the original, as his attacks are not doing much. Goku's teasing him the entire time and drawing out the fight to make him get desperate enough to absorb him. Goku knows that his son, and of course Vegeta, is inside of there, and he needs to save them. Goku would then allow himself to be absorbed, using his ki to shield himself so the magic would not affect him. Buu would then, of course, chant in excitement as he won, and how strong he's going to be, but then he realizes that nothing's happening yet. He would then go inside of his body, as Goku would then travel through his body just like before, being microscopic, Going through his organs and his blood vessels and so on, he would finally arrive to Boo's main core, where he would then see 3 eggs laid up. One was Vegeta and Gohan, and one in the middle was actually Fat Boo. This is when Super Boo would then be shocked, as he would then see his clothes disappear, as he's now back to Super Boo's level. This is because Goku removed Vegeta and Gohan quickly, and he was about to remove Fat Boo, but this is when Super Boo began trying to attack Goku in his body. But with just base Super Boo, he has no chance, and Goku was easily able to slap him away. This is when Goku would then see Fat Boo, and he will choose to help him, because he can sense only pureness from Fat Boo now. No taint of evil is in Fat Boo's heart. He understands that he's separated. He would then grab Fat Boo, and he would then rip it off, making him begin to change. Once when they escaped the bodies, Kid Boo was born. He would then scream and then raise his hand into the air, throwing a massive ki blast. But Goku would catch it and punch it back into the air, as Goku would then go back to base form, and the two would begin fighting. Goku is far stronger than Kid Boo at this point, as he has no chance. Goku does admit how strong he is, as he wishes that he'll come back as somebody good one day, and they can fight like this again sometime. He would then fire a Kamehameha and completely obliterate every trace of Majin Buu, thus ending the Buu arc. Now 3 years later, a certain cat was then sleeping, enjoying his rest. This is Lord Beerus. The Battle of Gods arc would play out pretty similar, with him learning about the Super Saiyan God, and the fact that Frieza was killed by a Super Saiyan. It was actually Vegeta this time, getting the limelight, which would pique his interest. He would then actually go to King Kai's world as Goku, again, with the help of Piccolo, who at this point is fused with Kami. He's the main soul keeper of the Dragon Balls. He can actually go back and forth to King Yama's place, as we saw. So Goku was actually on King Kai's world, enjoying his time, as he forgot it was Bulma's 38th birthday party, though, as he would then meet Beerus for the first time. Now, Beerus by this point is interested in the Saiyan's power. It's unlike anything he's ever felt before. Now, Goku was getting ready to fight Beerus, but King Kai stopped him, and he apologized, but he doesn't want his world to be destroyed. Goku would then change his mind, as he would say, well, maybe the Dragon Balls on Earth can help you find a Saiyan God, and then we can have a fight, right? Can you do that? Beerus would be intrigued, and he'll say yes. But they would then all leave, going to Earth through Whis' staff, and they would then arrive at Bulma's birthday party, where Beerus would then hang out and eat the food, being distracted as they get the Dragon Balls ready. With the Dragon Balls ready, they would then make the wish asking about the Saiyan God, and before this happens though, mind you, this was when Beerus would still snap. Majin Buu was still there, and they still fight over the pudding. This is when Goku would try to calm Beerus down, but it was too late, as he would then power up into Super Saiyan 2 and begin battling Beerus, actually landing really solid hits on him. This version of Goku was quickly adapted to Beerus, but it was hard for him to sense him because he had got no God energy. He can't even sense his power at all. This made the fight even harder, as Beerus was easily knocking around Goku, but his speed was increasing. Beerus was shocked with how strong this mortal was. He had no God Ki, but he was already this strong. As Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta and the others was not going to butt in the way, as Goku's adaptability was quickly rising as he was fighting, but Beerus would then stop the fight, as he does command the Saiyan's strength, but without God Ki, he cannot match him. This is when they would still kind of silence it, as Vegeta would then yell out, Lord Beerus, please sir, we have the Dragon Balls, we can give you the Super Saiyan God right now. This is exactly what you wanted. Beerus already let off some steam with Goku. He would let him slide one time. He would then go down and look at the Dragon Balls making the wish, as then the dragon would then explain the story of Yamoshi, the first Super Saiyan God, and the 5 Saiyans that are needed for the ritual to give all their power to one. This is when they would have enough Saiyans, just like the original. They would then give Goku the Super Saiyan God power. Goku's power as a Super Saiyan God is terrifying. This version of Goku is already stronger than some Tournament of Power people, and we're going to get into this shortly. Goku was still getting used to the power, but he was already adapting to it, where his body was already accepting the God Ki like it was his normal energy. He would begin battling Beerus, as Beerus was shocked with the power increase that he had. As it was increasing, Goku was only growing stronger. He doesn't even know what his limit is. He's never felt this strong before. As he was excited because Beerus was able to give him back just as much as he was giving to Beerus. The two would trade blows back and forth as Beerus was having a blast, but he was getting a little bit worried because his power was skyrocketing without stopping. It just didn't have a limit, as Goku was adapting and evolving as the fight was going on. Goku, up in space, would then lose the power, as Beerus was actually bleeding a little bit, and he actually pushed Beerus to use 100% of his base power. Goku would then look at his hand as Beerus would then raise up a Hakai Blast and state that it was over. He would then fire it at Goku, but Goku would then grab it with both hands, as he would then throw it into the air, shocking Beerus. Goku would then state that it ain't over yet, as he might have lost it initially. He would then try focusing, recalming his brain and his mind. He would then access the God Key and turn back into Super Saiyan God, as this would even surprise Whis, as his body has already accepted the God Key like his normal energy already. So Goku's naturally accepting the Saiyan God power, and he's learning to access it this early with no training. This piqued Whis' interest in training Goku. Goku would then power up to his maximum, and he would then fly in even stronger than before, attacking Beerus. This would then cause Beerus to then access his true God of Destruction form. Now, we've never seen an official God of Destruction use his power, but we did see Toppo actually use this, to where he bulked up in size and had the God of Destruction aura, and he had the symbol. Now, if Toppo could access this, why couldn't the other Gods of Destruction access a form like that too? Or at least a version that's similar. This is when Beerus was a little bit bigger, and his top armor piece was off, as he then had the symbol, and his eyes were glowing purple. He would then tell Kakarot and Goku that he was really impressed by his power. He would then fly in and start to overpower Goku. Goku's adaptability was still rising, as he was able to match Beerus slowly, but Goku would then run out of energy, not having enough to keep up, and he would then lose to Beerus. But it was a very close fight, and if Beerus did not outlast Goku in that short moment, Goku would have actually defeated him. This was the best fight Beerus has ever had, and some people forget that Beerus was actually able to kind of keep up with the other 12 Gods of Destruction and not get torn apart. Beerus is definitely one of the most powerful Gods of Destruction, so Goku by this point, just getting Super Saiyan God initially, can already defeat the likes of Champa and the others in terms of Gods of Destruction, for sure. Once when Beerus would then bring Goku down, he was very delighted. He never had that much fun in ages, ever since fighting Whis. Whis would personally offer Goku to come train him. Vegeta would instantly get up and beg to come, which Goku would then agree, as he needs a good training partner. Gohan would actually stay on Earth, as since Videl said that she was pregnant, he's not going anywhere. And Gohan would make sure to keep his training up. As Gohan's different, his mindset is to keep training to protect your family. This is when Goku and Vegeta would then leave, going to Whis' world to begin training. Now, the Resurrection F Saga would still happen, with Frieza being brought back to life. He would then train for 3 months and get his golden form. He would then arrive back on planet Earth. Now, this is where some changes are going to occur, as Gohan is not a weakling. In his Mystic form, he was actually able to keep up with First Form Frieza and even Final Form Frieza. Now, Final Form Frieza was his limit, and his soldiers were defeated a lot quicker. Goku, with Whis, of course, teleporting his way there, would actually take longer. The Goku does not have instant transmission. The Goku cannot instantly teleport. Now, you could have King Kai ask Supreme Kai to teleport instantly, but he didn't do that, so they would have to wait a couple minutes. Gohan was actually able to keep up with Frieza just long enough. And with the help of his friends also giving their energy, Gohan was able to keep up with First Form or Final Form Frieza, and this is when Goku would then appear. Now, Frieza actually has a bone to pick with Vegeta, not Goku. Goku never actually fought Frieza. He barely even knows him. Vegeta would then step in, and then he would turn into a Super Saiyan Blue, battling Frieza. This version of Vegeta, being stronger, he was actually able to overpower Frieza. Now, Vegeta does have Super Saiyan Blue, which is a little bit stronger than Mystic, but Vegeta prefers to use Mystic for longer fights, but he knows he has to defeat Frieza. This is when, once Frieza begins losing power, Vegeta would then switch to his Mystic form and easily overpower Frieza since he lost power and Vegeta can rely on his stamina. Frieza would have still destroyed planet Earth. Whis would have still rewinded time a couple minutes, making Goku fly in, fire a full power Kamehameha, and completely obliterate Frieza, thus having Goku's first win against Frieza, and Frieza was then sent back to Hell. Now, far off into the future from the original timeline, there is a being known as Goku Black. Now, this version of Goku Black is where he would have taken over Goku's body from the original timeline. This is not our current Goku. But once when Goku actually met up with Zamasu, he would have easily defeated him. Now, Goku, at this point, Zamasu would have seen the hatred and he would have been worried about how strong the mortals are. He would have came up with that whole plan with taking over the body and everything else, killing Gawasu, getting the time rings. Once when Goku Black actually went back to the past to fight Goku, Goku easily overpowered him even in base form, as Goku was way stronger than Goku Black. Once when him, future Trunks, and Vegeta would then go to the future timeline, the original, Goku would see how bad off the world was, but he would then meet Goku Black. First time, Vegeta wants a bone to pick with him. Vegeta would then fight Goku Black and easily overpower him in Super Saiyan Blue. Once when he turns Rose, the fight would turn a little bit differently, but once when he tries stabbing Vegeta, Vegeta would then grab it and then smirk at him, as he would then break the Keyblade and then keep beating on him. Zamasu would still appear in this timeline. Now, once when they were being defeated like this, they would do the fusion, as they would then take off the Potara earrings. Now, this is when once they take it off, they become merged Zamasu. They would overpower Vegeta and Trunks as well, as Trunks never unlocked his rage power as well. But you could say that Trunks would be angry seeing his father being tortured by merged Zamasu. He would then unlock the rage form, and then he would begin attacking merged Zamasu, actually putting up an okay fight, but merged Zamasu would then knock him down. This is when Goku would then overpower his key attacks. He would then transform into a Super Saiyan Blue. Into Super Saiyan Blue, he would start easily overpowering merged Zamasu without much of a problem, making merged Zamasu mutate and grow in size, growing monstrous and disgusting. But Goku was easily overpowering him. He would then fire a full power Kamehameha wave and completely incinerate Zamasu's body. This would then make the Universal Zamasu, but remember, Goku still met Zeno. And also to remind you guys, for the Universe 6 tournament, that would have played out roughly the same. Goku would have still been poisoned, and he would have easily defeated Hit this time though, so Monaka was not needed by Beerus. But other than that, it would have gone relatively the same. Not much else would have changed. Vegeta would have still lost, as he still used Super Saiyan Blue and damaged himself. Even if he was a Mystic, Hit was, I feel like, was just too fast, and he would have hit Vegeta's vital points, weakening him anyway. Vegeta actually carried most of that tournament, but it would have went the same. He still would have met Zeno, met up with him, became friends, and he would still gotten the Zeno button, which Beerus would have then threatened him. And then this is when Goku would then use it, bringing this current Zeno. Then he would have then brought that Zeno from that timeline after killing Zamasu, wiping him out, bringing him with Zeno to then have a buddy. Now there are two Zenos in the current timeline like the original. This is when Trunks would then go to a twin timeline, which is pretty much the exact same. And now, this is where big change is going to occur on the next part. After the defeat of Zamasu and Goku Black, things finally went back to normal for all the Z fighters. Peace was finally restored until shortly afterward, the same events for the Tournament of Power would have still happened, with Goku still promising Zeno a thing to go fight. Now you guys remember, Goku promised to do something like this before, so Zeno's holding him up to that. When Goku goes to meet Zeno, Zeno would then offer the Tournament of Power idea. Goku would then agree, thinking it's a great idea. Beerus will be terrified, as if they lose, they will then lose their universe. The Grand Priest would then prepare everything and explain that within the next 24 hours, they will then begin the power. This is when all the 12 universes were then notified of the Tournament of Power. Goku needs to start building his team. Now from what we know, Majin Buu would have still fallen asleep just like the original, but Goku would have still went to go get Frieza so he can have somebody as a backup in case anything happens, because they don't know how strong the other beings are, nor does Whis and Beerus. There was rumor of a mortal who is as strong as a god of destruction or has even surpassed it in another universe, but they don't know where or which one. As Beerus thinks that it could be him, but Whis says no, it's somebody else. This got Goku pumped, as there was somebody that strong out there that could actually fight him. But the team is pretty much the exact same team as the original What If, as it was all the original Z fighters that would have all arrived ready to battle in the Tournament of Power. Gohan would have still been the team leader and he would have led the fight. Gohan and their Earthlings would have all banded together to start working together. Goku and Vegeta would have split off on their own to go battle their own thing, same with Frieza, as he's not much of a team player. This is when Frieza, again, he has kept his training up, and Goku would have still met him with Baba like before, but this time around it's not as evenly sided. Frieza would still get a good hit on Goku, but it wouldn't really hurt him. Goku would actually be in base form the whole time. Now this is when Goku would have fought Caulifla for a very short period until Caulifla would have gotten really upset, and she would have then started attacking Goku in her new buff legendary form. Now this is when Kale will continue attacking Goku until Goku would then grab her hand in base form and be able to nearly knock her out of the ring with a powerful ki blast. Jiren would have not have butted in during that side note, so Goku would not have been able to see his power. Now Jiren would have hit that one goo creature, making a massive explosion with just a single punch. Now before we dive deeper into the Tournament of Power, Goku would have fought Toppo just like before, and also Bergamo. Now Goku would have easily defeated Bergamo without needing to really transform. You could say maybe he would go Super Saiyan, but Super Saiyan Blue and stuff is really pushing it. And even the same thing with Toppo. Goku and Super Saiyan can match Toppo and overpower him without the need of Blue or Kaioken before the fight gets truly heated. Now this is when Goku would then meet Jiren. During the Tournament of Power, after Kale was nearly knocked out, Belmod would then tell Jiren that Goku is the main threat, and if they defeat him, then the Tournament of Power will be a breeze. This is when Jiren would then begin his fight with Goku. Goku in base form was able to knock Jiren back surprisingly with his raw power. As remember here, Goku has been training for all these years. With Broly's adaptability and potential, Goku here is insanely powerful. Base form Goku is kind of handling it similar to how Blue Goku did, and Jiren was able to start overpowering him using more of his strength. This is when Goku would then turn Super Saiyan and then continue the match, and he would then go into Super Saiyan 2 just for extra keeping. Being able to keep up with Jiren and battling him back and forth, Belmod was shocked how this mortal's not even using God Ki fully yet, but he's able to match Jiren in power. This makes no sense. Beerus would then smirk and state that Son Goku is not even trying yet. This is not even at full power. Goku and Jiren seem to be fighting equally, but Jiren is of course holding back more power. Jiren would then showcase Goku way more of his power, shocking the whole arena, as their battle was so intense that people were getting knocked off left and right who were lesser in power. Goku would then transform into a Super Saiyan God. This is where the match would then take a big turn. In Super Saiyan God, he would easily overpower Jiren at his full power, knocking him around the arena, and Jiren is losing the match, as then Toppo would then try to jump in to help Jiren, but he was easily tossed away. Jiren, now on the losing end, would then see back to his past and see his trauma. His master being defeated by somebody he was not strong enough. This would then make Jiren snap and turn into his limit-breaking form. Jiren, using his full power now, his inner potential, he would then attack Goku with everything he has. Goku was still able to hold his own against Jiren, but Jiren's power was steadily rising as he was growing more angrier and stronger. Goku was shocked by the sudden power boost by Jiren, but he was able to hold his own very well. This is when Jiren would then knock Goku back right through the multiple pillars, destroying the arena, as most of the participants are knocked out by now, even Anaraza and others, because of the raw power that these two are producing. The others are just staying clear out of the way, as Vegeta is now watching in awe. This is when Vegeta would then take his own fight and actually go battle Toppo. Now Vegeta here would have showcased Blue Evolution, but this time he was actually able to access it easier on his own, as he's already been practicing towards his power. Toppo using his job destruction form, with Vegeta being much more stronger, he would have easily overpowered Toppo. Toppo would have no chance against this version of Vegeta, and Vegeta would not need to do the self-destruct to defeat him. A final flash with everything he had was more than enough to knock out Toppo out of the ring. With Gohan, since he's been keeping his training up and training even harder, alongside with Frieza, Gohan was actually able to match Dispo and be able to defeat him, even with Dispo's light speed mode. So Dispo would have no chance. Now Frieza's been kind of snaking around, doing his own thing. This is when Frieza would actually battle Kale and Caulifla. Frieza would have easily handled them, but Frieza lets a bad thing happen, as he would then start to destroy Kale in their match using death beams, as they don't have any chance against Frieza, since Frieza's not holding back at all and he's not showing any mercy to them whatsoever. This is when they would then resort to the fusion dance, and then of course doing the fusion technique, thus getting the Batara earrings and then fusing into one. This is when Kefla would then appear and they would start overpowering Frieza. But you have to remember, Goku was starting to be overpowered because he had no energy left. He was losing power very quickly, and he didn't really have that much energy to move around and do much. So Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue form was way weaker than he originally was, as this was stated, that his stamina ran out. Goku in Super Saiyan Blue was actually able to handle Kefla and hold his own no problem. So Frieza at his full power, not holding back, and he had plenty of energy, he was actually able to match Kefla and keep up with her for a very long time. Now Frieza knows when to end a fight, but once when Kefla would then knock him towards a rock pillar, he seemed defeated. She would then laugh, as then Frieza would then use his tail to grab her by the neck, and he would then fire a massive death ball right into her stomach, which would severely wound the fusion. They would then launch through multiple pillars, as both Frieza and Kefla were completely exhausted. Frieza by this point was then getting ready to attack again, before Hit would then jump in and tag team Frieza. This is when Frieza will start to get overwhelmed, as he's already tired as is. The next person who will jump in would actually be Gohan. Since Gohan has actually defeated Dispo and the others, he would then jump in and battle Hit, and on top of this, he would be able to defeat Hit. As Gohan quickly gets used to his time-skipping ability, Hit would then use his time-locking ability, trapping Gohan within his own time. Gohan was now stuck, as Kefla begins hitting him and knocking him nearly off the ring. Gohan remembers his family, Videl, Pan. Gohan cannot lose this match. As his eyes would then glow red and then swirl, he would then transform into his beast form for the first time. Goku and Jiren would then stop their fight, seeing Gohan's raw power. It was incredible. Goku's never seen anything like this before, same with Jiren and everybody else. It was incredible power. Gohan would then shatter out of the time phase, and he would then be able to easily overpower Hit, delivering a powerful Masenko attack, sending Hit and Kefla right out of the ring, defeating them. Gohan still had plenty enough energy, as he then challenges anybody else to match him. A couple of other people then tried teaming up on Gohan, but him and Piccolo would have easily knocked out anybody in their way. Now back to the Goku versus Jiren match. Jiren has no chance. As true, Goku was still in Super Saiyan God, he would then transform into a Super Saiyan Blue at his full strength. He would then attack Jiren with everything he has and overpower him. Goku would not have the side effect of Ultra Instinct as we know, as since he never turned into it, he never turned into Mastered and then got that nasty side effect, nearly destroying his body. Now Android 17 and 18 would still be here like the original, as that really would not change, but other than that, things would have been peaceful, as then Goku would have easily knocked out Jiren, knocking him right out of the ring and then winning the entire tournament. This is when the Dragon Balls would then appear, and since Gohan was the team leader, he would be able to be granted the wish. He would then wish for all the universes to be brought back, just like Zeno foresaw. Frieza would then tell them to hurry up and send him back to Hell, but this is when Whis would actually revive him, as this is a gift from Beerus. Frieza would then state that he'll not stop his evil ways, as Goku would then explain that he will stop him if he ever tries. This is when peace was finally restored to all the universes, and Goku was excited to go fight Jiren again if that ever happens. No one has pushed him this far in a very long time other than Whis. This is when now we are going to cut forward, and we're going to actually jump into the Moro Arc. Now with the Moro Arc, from what we know, the Moro Arc is originally when Moro would escape from the Galactic Patrol, and he would start to quickly overpower everybody with his magical abilities. But before we jump into this one fully, we gotta go over the Broly Arc. And with the Broly Arc, Paragus would have still been found by Chi-Lai and Lemo, just like before, and they would meet Broly. Frieza would have still taken Broly and find an interest in his power. His adaptability seems similar to that of the Son Goku's. He would then still use Broly and Paragus kind of to use them to get revenge. Frieza would have still sent Broly and Paragus to planet Earth with them to go get the Dragon Balls so he could wish himself to be taller. This is when he would also use Broly to go battle. Paragus still has hatred towards Vegeta just like before. The roundup will be just like before, as Paragus would then tell Broly to go attack Vegeta. Now of course Vegeta even in base form was overpowering Broly, but quickly as the fight was going on, Broly was growing stronger and stronger as he would begin to overpower base form Vegeta. This is when Vegeta would then transform into a Super Saiyan, and he would overpower Broly again, but Broly was quickly growing more and more in power. Once when Vegeta did turn into a Super Saiyan God, it was overkill by this point, As Goku even told Vegeta to stop, Vegeta would then launch a massive attack hitting Broly. Broly would begin powering up, using more of the Great Ape state, but not yet, as once when Vegeta then landed a solid punch on Broly, it did nothing. This is when Broly would then start to overpower Vegeta, knocking him around the whole Arctic area, as by this point, this is when, of course, Frieza, as you guys can remember, is sitting there with Paragus, wondering why can't Broly even turn into a Super Saiyan. And then Paragus didn't even know that was a thing, he never knew that was possible. This would irritate Frieza more than anything else, as now Frieza has to deal with the fact that, of course, with them actually being that weak, what are they going to do now? Now with Paragus on the running end, being terrified of the fact about how strong Vegeta was, Broly's power continues to rise, as Chi-Lai would have still taken Shock Collar that would have originally controlled Broly from what we know. Since this happens, Broly's power is continuing to rise and rise without stopping. With his power continuing to rise without question, they are now running out of options on what to do. As Broly's power continued to rise, Vegeta would start to get overpowered very quickly, until Goku would then cut him off, and explain, hey, you're going to be fighting me next. Goku now battling Broly. Goku in base form will be able to match Broly and hold his own very well against him. But Broly's power was quickly rising, Goku would see that, but Broly's adaptability was rising, same with Goku's. Goku would then transform into a Super Saiyan, just for double measure, as he would overpower Uzaru level Broly or Akari Broly. This is when Frieza would then see that he's reached his limit. This is when Frieza would then fire a death beam, killing Paragus, and then explaining to Broly that he died from one of his blasts. This would then make Broly snap and then transform into a Super Saiyan. With Broly now as a Super Saiyan level character, this is a massive change, as Broly's now way stronger, but there's no Gogeta yet. As Goku and Vegeta originally were in Super Saiyan Blue and they couldn't even match him, they needed to fuse, Goku would then get pumped up. As he would then transform into a Super Saiyan God, he would then start to overpower Broly even in a Super Saiyan state. Their clashes were then shattering the dimensions around them, as Broly, even by this point, would then turn into his full power mode. This is when Goku would start to go overkill, and he would then go into Super Saiyan Blue, which was more than enough to defeat Broly. Broly was on the losing end, as Goku then charged up a full power Kamehameha, firing it right at Broly. Chi-Lai would then still make the wish to wish him back to planet Vampa. This is when Goku, by this point, would have had to take in a ship, as there's no missing transmission. He would have had to go on and meet Broly, as it would have been a few weeks later. With the advanced ships that Bulma has, he can get there. He would then tell Broly all about the fact that, well, these are the pods for you, and of course, I will come see you again. And this is when Broly would then smile, and then Goku would offer to teach him later down the line, as he finds Broly's power amazing. They have adaptability very similar to each other. Now cutting forward to the Moro Arc, he would have still broken out just like before, and he would have still taken over Earth and then of course Planet Namek like we know. Now during the Moro Arc, the biggest change is when they first meet. Now as we know with the other androids that Moro has, he would have easily been defeated by Gohan at this point, not even being fast enough to even take his powers. Now Goku, would he have trained with Miras? This is where some changes are going to occur. Goku being so powerful, Moro literally has no chance of touching Goku, since Goku in Super Saiyan Blue was really holding back against Broly. He didn't want to kill him. Goku at full power would have easily defeated Moro, easily when he was even older. But remember, Moro's power was to take Ki. So Moro would have quickly aged much faster, absorbing their power, but Goku was still able to match him because his power was growing non-stop as well. Now, since they are battling back and forth, Goku doesn't really know about Moro's magical abilities just yet. This is where Goku would actually be defeated, as Moro was non-stop growing stronger and stronger and stronger. He would then defeat Goku. As Moro was then taking over the university planets, Goku was taken by Miras and he was trained. Now this is when he would actually be trained in the ways of Ultra Instinct. The way that Goku has actually been training recently with Whis, as Whis thinks that he has the power and the adaptability to handle it. Now, they never thought that a mortal could ever access his power, but Goku training with Miras secretly, Goku would learn how to use Ultra Instinct on his own, even adding it to his forms, as Goku's adaptability is that busted. This is when, after the training with Miras, Goku received a ungodly big power boost. That's absolutely insane. Considering the fact that he trained with Beerus and he's pushing him harder than he's ever been pushed before, Goku's power is terrifying. Goku has far exceeded the gods of destruction by this point easily, and potentially at this Ultra Instinct level, when he learns to control it fully, he's definitely able to contend with the angels. Goku would have then arrived back and fought Moro for the second time. This time he would not hold back, and he would easily overpower Moro, as it wasn't even a comparison. Moro would have been defeated by Goku, as Goku would have used the energy to destroy him. After Moro was defeated, peace was finally brought back to the planet Earth. This was when now we're going to cut forward into the Dragon Ball superhero. Now we know that the manga is technically after the Granolah Arc, but if you do want to jump into the Granolah Arc, that's where we're going to go. And with the Granolah Arc, he would have still made the wish to become the most powerful mortal in the universe. The downside is technically he would have died, as he only had a few years left. Considering how strong Goku and Vegeta was, imagine them now, mainly Goku. Vegeta would have still unlocked Ultra Ego, but we're going to say for what if sakes that Granolah was actually able to make the wish. This makes him scary powerful, way stronger than Beerus, so Goku is technically the only hope. Now once when Granolah actually battles Goku, he would start to be overpowered by Goku, as Goku was quickly growing in strength. But Granolah was growing stronger too, to battle against the Wish. Now this is when Goku would still learn about his Saiyan heritage, learned about his father Bardock, how he actually fought Gas like originally, and Goku would accept his Saiyan heritage. Thus Goku would then unlock TUI, which is True Ultra Instinct, and he would have overpowered Granolah. Unfortunately, Granolah would have then died because of the fact that his body was aging rapidly. Similar to how Gas did like the original, Gas would have still made the wish himself, but he was aging and he looked as bad as he did when he started. This is when Gas would then challenge Goku and charge in. Goku would then use the full power of his Ultra Instinct and deliver a Black Frieza move, hitting him right in the stomach, and it would cause him to literally fall apart. Now, since this does happen, now we're going to cut forward to Black Frieza. Frieza trained for 10 years to grow even stronger. He would have then appeared and challenged Goku to a match. Goku would have accepted. Now, since the two would begin fighting, Frieza in base form was actually able to hold his own against base form Goku. Once when he turns into Black Frieza, this is where the biggest change is going to occur. Now that Frieza has transformed, his power was terrifying. Goku was shocked with how strong he was able to get. Vegeta does want a shot at him, but even in his Ultra Ego state, he would have gotten one shot by Frieza no matter what. Frieza doesn't even consider him a challenge, as Frieza just wants some revenge, as this is when, of course, now that, of course, Frieza, in his new Black Frieza form, Goku and him would then begin going at it. Goku, with his Ultra Instinct form, he was able to dodge most of Frieza's attacks. Frieza would then shock Goku at his power as it continuously rises and rises and rises. This is when Frieza would then see, as now he's using his full strength in his new black form, but it was not enough to actually stop Goku. Goku's adaptability was quickly rising higher than Frieza could even keep up, as Goku would then deliver the beat down on Frieza. Beerus would have arrived at this point, as Beerus is still watching what is going on currently, and he's in shock. As by this point, Frieza has no chance against this version of Goku now, as he's easily overpowering him with no effort. Now that Frieza is on the losing end, Goku would have then charged up a full power Kamehameha wave and hit Frieza, killing the Emperor, obliterating him. Now with the universe saved, there was peace finally restored back on Earth. Now for the Dragon Ball Super part, this is where we are going to have Gohan and Piccolo team up to fight the Gammas. Now, Goku and Vegeta would have still battled on Beerus' world. He would have won. We still would have had Broly there training with them. We still would have had Gohan and Piccolo team up. Piccolo would have still gotten his orange form and be around the same power levels he was, maybe a little bit stronger. Gohan is way stronger in his beast form. Now, the Gammas are a little bit stronger because they're stronger as well. It wouldn't make too much of a difference since Cell Max would have still been the same, and the Gamma would have sacrificed himself, and then we would have also had the one Gamma who survived. Now, Gohan by this point, he would have easily defeated the Gammas by himself, especially when Cell Max appears. He has no chance against this version of Gohan. His power far exceeds him. Gohan with the full power Special Beam Cannon would have hit Cell Max full force and completely obliterated him from the entire face of the Earth. Now since that is finished, We are now finished with this series. I want to apologize that this episode is not as long, but we were on the back end, and I could have extended it for the last part, but I wanted to give you guys one more. But anyway, that is it for this What If series, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Make sure to be ready for the movie so you can watch the entire part in one go. But anyway, thank you all so much for the support. Let's get to 20,000 subscribers, and I'll talk to you all later.